This video will cover how to find or estimate marriage year and location from census records from 1850 on up. In this video, I want to show you how to figure out where a couple might have been married anytime from the 1850 on to the 1940 census. You can do this basically. This is in Polk, Iowa. It's the 1850 census. And if we look at William Coldesier, he's 28, he's married, farmer, he was born in Kentucky. And we have Mercy, she's 17, she's born in Indiana. And then their first son, it looks like, is 6 months old and was born in Indiana. So it looks like they have just moved there. And so the guess would be that they were married in Indiana, since this child was 6 months old and born in Indiana. Now, it looks like he's living with a brother, David and Adelia, and they have a 1-year-old, and she was born in Iowa. So both of these families, I would guess, they were married in either Indiana or Iowa. But it looks like they came to Iowa first, and then William and Mercy followed. Then let's look at the next one, Elijah Alexander. Doesn't know where he was born. Elizabeth was born in Virginia. Their oldest child, probably their oldest child, because sometimes the first one listed is not the oldest because some have gotten married, but she's 39. That would have made her 19. Anyways, he was born in Indiana. So my guess on this family is they were probably married in Indiana. And you're just trying to figure out where to look for marriage records. So let's look at the next family. James Delbridge, she's 40. Their oldest is 20, Betsy. And she was born in Indiana. Now the parents were both born in Virginia. So they could have been married in Virginia and then gone to Indiana, but I would look in Virginia and Indiana. Okay, Lewis Bishop. Okay, their oldest is 11. And again, we have Indiana and Virginia. Now this one, I would suspect they were married in Indiana, since he was born in Indiana, and so was this first child. Okay, and then we have Adam Cyber and Elizabeth. They're both born in Virginia, and Levi was also born in Virginia. He looks like he's probably the oldest child. His mother would have been 18, and the first two children were born in Virginia. So in this case, I would look in Virginia for marriage, or at least I would probably put down probably Virginia as their marriage location. Now the other thing you can do is, so 18 years before, so you take a year before that, it looks like this is probably the first marriage and this is their first child, so I would take 19 years from 1850, which 20 years would be 1830, so about 1831 in Virginia is where I would look. So that's what I would estimate, and you can do the same on these. It looks like these are probably the first children. She was pretty young, 18. So again, I would take 12 from 1850, 1838, and probably married in Indiana. So that's what you can do if you don't have a marriage date. You just look at the census, and you might want to look at 2 or 3 of them. Make sure you've got the oldest child, and then you look at where those oldest children were born, and where the parents were born, and where they're living, and where the oldest child was born. And you can kind of estimate, at least it would give you an idea of where to start looking for marriage records. Here are two snippets from the 1870 Fannin County, Texas census. Column 14 states, if married within the year, state the month, January, February, etc. In the first snippet, we see that James and Mary were married in December. This would be in 1869. The second snippet is for Francis and Celia, and they were married in April of 1870. This couple shows that they were married in column 10. But what you want to notice is column 12, which asks, married during the census year. This couple was married during the year. At the top of the page it states, the census year begins June 1st, 1879 and ends May 31st, 1880. This couple was married during this time period. This isn't as good as 1870, but it does give you an estimation of a couple's marriage date of 1879 or 1880. The 1900 census is wonderful in that it asks the number of years married. We see that Howard and Sally were married 10 years. Their oldest daughter was born in April of 1890, so they were most likely married in 1889. Since everyone in this family was born in Virginia, they most likely were married in Virginia. They were living in Pennsylvania County, Virginia, so that would be the first place to search for a marriage license or marriage certificate. The 1910 census asks how many years the couple had been married in column 9. In column 8, it asks their marital status. The census taker also asked how many times they had been married. In this case, Mary and Thomas had been married for 19 years, and both had been married one time. The census taker wrote in that Leonard and Rose had been married for 3 weeks. Going to the top of the page, we see that the enumeration date was the 15th of April. So this couple was married sometime in March of 1910. In the Atlantic City, Ward 1, Atlantic County, New Jersey, 1910 census, the census taker also recorded how long a widow had been married. Most census takers did not record how long a widow had been married. They usually left that blank. The question here is the year given as to how long they had been married when their spouse died, or was it how long they had been married from 1910? My guess is the second case. Most likely, Mary Payne was married 13 years ago, Agnes 40 years ago, and Amanda 23 years ago. In this 1910 census, we see that Joseph had been married twice and Dorcas only one time. Joseph and Lori had been married twice. I was helping a lady a few years ago. We found her great-great-grandfather in 1910 census. She only knew of his marriage to her great-great-grandmother. The census said that he had been married 4 times. We searched and found 2 other marriages, but we never did find the 4th marriage. The interesting thing was that he was listed as a preacher. In this census, Lewis is listed with a D, meaning divorced. We may not know when Lewis got married, but the fact that he was divorced and that he has a son shows that he was married. Since his son is 9, it is likely that his marriage was about 1900. The census may not give when a person was married, but some of the information in the census does help you know where a person might have been married and approximately when they were married. Happy hunting!